Okay, so we have a to what extent do you agree or disagree question being written by Éclat tutor, the brilliant teacher, I think is what éclat means, right? And this is the third essay that I have corrected, and I wouldn't normally give that many responses to one person, but he had mentioned, perhaps purposefully, that he had gotten the question from my random number generator uh, um, software. No, it wasn't software. It's just a widget, as they call it. Anyway, it's from Shelley Cormack's 100 Questions blog, which is a very good place to get a lot of questions to look for new questions. I just had a 100 0 to 100, 1 to 100 random number picker, which was then indexed with her list for people to choose a random question. And that's what's going to happen to you when you go in to the IELTS test. So you might as well have your questions assigned to you at random if you want to practice test conditions. Now, the question is, the recent popularity of online shopping will result in the end of high street shops. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Let's analyze the question. Okay, recent popularity. So, will result. Right, now, this gives us opportunities to show a variety of tenses because we can talk about recent events that affect now. That's using present perfect. Present continuous is going to fit in there. We can talk about what people like and dislike. That's present simple. And we've got future construction. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Will result in the end of high street shops. No. If I do have an objection to this question, it's the use of high street shops, which I understand is very common British English, and in fact, in Australia and New Zealand, and I actually looked it up. It's in use in Canada as well. So I guess if you've got all those countries on one side, in America we would say Main Street. We wouldn't even say shops because high street shops refers to urban retailers nowadays. That's what it means. It's been expanded beyond the old meaning of a string of retailers along the most important road in town. All right, so let's look at the answer. I think it helps to hear it because sometimes when you hear it, grammar mistakes or particularly run-on sentences and stuff really show up. Let's hear it.
The craze of doing shopping online among the people is rapidly growing. Because of this trend, it has been believed that local shops will no longer be seen in the future. Though online shopping making an impact, I think it can never replace street markets completely. The reason, MW, will be discussed in the following paragraphs.
Okay, so did you hear that confusion there in the first sentence? The craze of doing online shopping among the people is rapidly growing. So where are you doing the shopping? Is it among the people? Or is it the people who are... Anyway, let's break it down. I've changed my color scheme. I thought the black background with the angry red task response errors was a little bit harsh. So we've gone with a softer blue. And red has been replaced by pink. It's also pastel. Very nice. Craze. Craze is not the same as popularity. Craze comes from the word crazy, right? Like what's been a craze lately? The recent craze for K-pop, okay, or the craze of people eating Tide Pods. Online shopping is a change in the way people take care of their basic needs. It's not a craze. And we don't do shopping, we go shopping or we shop. So the rise or the growing popularity of shopping online, and we don't need among the people. You notice that people is made big here because eclat, I looked back at your other two essays, and this is something I pointed out before, and you haven't fixed it. You're throwing in people, particularly in the introduction. We don't need among the people. First of all, what people? The people? Everywhere? And who else is going to shop online? The craze of doing shopping online among kangaroos? So it's unnecessary. So the rise of popularity in online shopping, you don't need rapidly growing if you say the increasing popularity is rapidly growing because of this trend. The craze. It has been believed that local shops will no longer. Why am I reading it when you heard it a moment ago? Why has been believed? Really? Why did I put it in task response? Because it's an interpretation of the question. It has been believed that local shops will no longer be seen in the future. What, have you read Ajish's post about Ben and gotten fascinated by it? Did you want to say it is said? Okay. Do you want to distance yourself? Then use the present tense. It is said that local shops will no longer be seen in the future. That local shops will go out of business, will disappear. And we don't need in the future because we've got will. Though online shopping making an impact, how about although? No, or even though online shopping making, just by itself, is making an impact. What kind of impact? It can never replace, well, it won't ever, it will never. Better choices. Street markets, definitely different thing than high street shops. Now, again, if you don't know that high street shops means city center or downtown, usually small retailers, then there we have it. And then I should make this bold as well. You did this in previous essays as well. You concluded it with what's called an outline statement, an outline sentence, or an outline here, it's not a whole sentence, will be discussed in the following paragraphs. That's so generic. What I mean by generic is that it's not part of this essay. You could put that at the end of any introduction, and because it is not specific, it will be ignored, and it's pointless because what reasons? The reasons for this, such as perception and fear of crime. Well, you might want to mention what the reasons are. All right. There are many of us who predict that in the future, us. So you believe in this paragraph, in this side. Wait a minute. You said it will never replace street markets. Okay, so there are many of us who predict that in the future shopping will only. Wait a minute, huh? Us. Us includes you, doesn't it? Don't use us. And there are many of us who predict. I guess you're throwing in a relative clause there, which will improve your grammar. But you have a lot of space to put relative clauses in other points. There are many of us who predict that in the future. Shopping.
Shopping will only be done from online websites. One of the main reasons behind their belief might be the perception of looking the things from their eyes. In routine life, they watch and read news about online shoppers' turnover, which has been increasing day by day. So, they believe that this happened at the cost of customers of local shops.
Well, who else?
And make future predications based
upon that. Oh, yes. All right. You're not supposed to be penalized for bad ideas. But, so the reason why people think that high street shops will disappear is because of what they read in the newspaper, or they read about online shops, say Amazon or eBay or any of these. I don't know what they have in your country, but they don't talk about their turnover. Well, they say they're growing. And honestly, high street shops, downtown retailers have been suffering since the invention of the shopping mall outside of town. Anyway, it's a pretty weak argument. They read in the news that sales are going well, so they assume. And believe me, that was not clear from reading that. I had to sit there and think about what you were saying. So it's very incoherent. One of the main reasons, you only give one, so how about just one reason behind their belief might be, because it's probably, it's the perception of looking the things from their eyes. Might be an assumption based on information in the media. In routine life, how about in daily life, they watch and read news. And look, online shoppers turnover. Okay, remember, the online shoppers are the ones doing the shopping. They're the customers. Do customers have turnover? No. The online shops or the online retailers. Day by day. Every day it goes up. And then so is made big and capital because you made this mistake in other essays as well. If you start a sentence with so, which when I was a child they told us never do that. If you start a sentence with so, you are introducing a new idea. But actually what you're doing is explaining it. And as a consequence, it needs to be a conjunction and in the middle of a sentence, not starting one. So, I believe that this happened. It's already happened, is happening at the cost of customers of local shops. What? The customers? No, it's the local shops that are experiencing the cost. And just like so, I don't recommend starting. And make future predictions based upon that. What is that? I have not, it's very unclear. And I suppose you can say they is an ellipse here, meaning it's assumed in the question, but without it, but no, this is a grammar error, because without they in there, there's no subject, and that's not a complete sentence. However, you started your last two essays in the second body paragraph with however. I know we like to be comfortable in knowing that there's some words we can always rely on, like on the other hand, however. But in this case, your previous point was about people who have misconceptions or assumptions based on what they read in the media. So, however, should contrast that. And it doesn't really. I think that there are many people who do not like to buy things from online. Online is an adjective, or an adverb actually, who do not like to buy things online. No from. And in the future, also they will continue to buy from offline stores. Why also? How about, however, I think that there are many people who prefer to buy things from high street shops, and they will continue to do so in the future. Offline is not describing a shop. Offline is what happens when my computer breaks. The shop was never online. Okay. The reason for this distrust issue, what distrust issue? Huh? Oh, we'll find out later. This distrust issue. How about there is a reason, distrust is, or causes, again, you use this a lot, and it's never quite clear. It's not always clear. Okay, as technology upgrades, why does every essay have to include our technology? We upgrade our phone. We upgrade our software. Okay, it's taking a thing, a specific thing, and even as much as things like, oh, I'm going to try to upgrade my vocabulary. Well, my vocabulary is a singular thing. Technology doesn't upgrade. Robbers are also upgrading themselves. They're getting chips put into their brains. Remember, a robber and a thief are not the same thing. Cybercrime has become a very common thing from the last few years, over the last few years. Really? Would you like to support that with an example, perhaps? So, here it is again. So, the people who are aware of this, why do we need they? The people who are aware of this are cautious about giving away personal details like bank details. That's a little bit repetitive. Details, addresses, and mobile numbers. They are certainly bank details. And look, and so we know that if we, now it's we, not they, want to do shopping, go shopping online, then you, not we, not us, you now have to give all these details. Therefore, they, oh my God, we know if we want to, then you have to, therefore they, all referring to the same actor. Usually avoid it. Well, like I said, I just ordered something online today and I didn't pay. And they got my phone number, of course, and my address because they're delivering it, but I'm paying in cash on arrival. You said this in the last essay as well. Apart from that, quality is still an area of concern. Still? Why still? You never mentioned it before. When you are buying products from local markets, you can be sure of its quality by touching. How about examining? You can be sure of its quality. You don't even need to say why. Or you can by examining or trying it. Touching, trying. For example, clothes. There is a sentence fragment. When we go to buy clothes, most of us check the quality of the fabric and also try to see whether it looks. We don't know if we're successful. How about when buying clothes, most check the quality of the fabric and and its appearance. But in the case of online shopping, you cannot do that. That's a big point. This could have been, this is usually when I read this essay, this is the point. This is bizarre. To conclude, although online shoppers, have become, although online shoppers, who is online shop? These are the people shopping. Via offline. Okay, to conclude. Although shopping online has become the preference, not the first, the preference for many, don't say of us, I believe there will always be people who like to buy products from high street retailers. That's who we're talking about, right? So the question is, will online shopping mean the end of the end of high street shops? The end of. Okay? Where did you discuss that? Just because some people want to go down to the supermarket go to the high street retailer, will that be enough to keep them in business? I'm sure lots of people would really enjoy having their milk delivered every day, but that went away. I might be coming back. What's another example of something that's gone away? Yeah? Well, again, it's so cultural, but people don't pull other people in rickshaws anymore. They have bicycles for that. Can you imagine when the bicycle came out? Will the bicycle be the end of the pedestrian rickshaw? So, Ikla, did you read? I know that can be incoherent sometimes, but you don't seem to take any of the advice, or some of the advice, I can't notice it, to heart. You're writing the same essay as you did last time, just changing the content. Good luck.